Welcome to the Abundance Flow podcast. Here we explore abundance in all its forms: money, energy, health, creativity, time, relationships, and impact. We will learn how to free ourselves from the tides of scarcity and surf the waves of abundance. We navigate the 5 C's of abundance: the fire that awakens, the wind that liberates, the sparks and synchronicities that appear, the form that materializes, and the light that spreads. My name is Raphael Ribeiro. I'm a surf instructor, former software developer, postgraduate in psychology through expressive arts, and a dancer between scarcity and abundance. I invite you to dive with me into this journey of stories and practices to manifest the life you dream and deserve. Let's go. In this second episode, I have with me, in person, my xará, as we say in Brazil, or better, my namesake, Raphael Neves, founder of Candle.io, which was created to help tired professionals who are trying to figure it out their path to professional development by themselves, and who want to grow in a more strategic and intentional way. He is also my conterrâneo, meaning he also comes from Brazil, and although we've known each other for a long time through social media, we have never met in person until today. So this is the first time live together. Welcome, Rafa. The mic is yours to add anything I might have missed.
Thank you, Rafa. It's a pleasure and very much appreciated for the invite today. Yeah. It's been a long journey. I remember when you first messaged me, like back in 2018 or something like that. Yeah, I was having a bad time with my kid, and you dropped me a message saying, "Oh man, this is gonna pass, so stay strong." I remember that I put that in my heart, the care and like dropping this kind of message for a completely strange. So it really touched me, and it's a pleasure to be here in person with you today, man.
In capoeira, we say the one who punches forgets, but the one that gets hit never forgets. And I didn't recall exactly how we met, and I didn't go check the messages because I wanted to be surprised in a way. And you're probably going to tell a little bit more about your relationship with parenting, your expert relationship with parenting. But I remember how it was difficult to be a parent, especially for the first time. So when I saw what you were experiencing and how normally men suffer through these moments alone, because at least in our generation, we are not taught to share or to call out for help. That was the kind of like the drive for me to send a message like, hey, here is a fellow man going through the hell of parenting that sometimes manifests. So I'm just going to say that I see you, I acknowledge you, and I hope that it doesn't last forever.
Thank you so much. And it's interesting because that this culture, it's kind of weird, right? You basically described me, and I think many other men around the world faces the same thing. I was taught that crying was not, it was a sign of weaknesses, and yeah, I very much appreciate that.
Well, thank you for also holding my message dear to you as well. And it led to us being here today in my sofa. All right, so let's begin. For if you're listening to this second episode, but your first episode, here at the Abundance Flow podcast, we have some surf-related questions and ocean and sea-inspired questions, but they are all, let's say, translated to pretty much any concept or any context. So if it feels weird, don't worry. I'm going to explain what the question means. All right. So Rafa, for me and for whoever is listening to us, who are you in and out of the water? Meaning, how would you describe yourself in one or a few sentences? And what are you actually creating in the world right now?
I describe myself as a weird character navigating between all around tech and the human mind from the professional perspective. I think this created a very interesting, I would even call a bubble, a niche for me. And by the time that you become a people oriented person in a heavily knowledge and result driven environment, this kind of sounds weird. But yeah, this people oriented, and I am a lover of the human mind. You know, we were discussing about like your post graduation in psychology. I also love the psychology theme as well. But in my personal life, I am a husband. I am a father of 5 beautiful kids.
Say that number again, please.
Yeah, 5 beautiful kids. 5. Not 2, not 3, but 5. So if you need a master's degree human mind, it's a bit more expensive than the traditional way, I would say. But yeah. So yeah, and today I describe myself on my meaning in the world is I am trying to fill the gaps that I live it with from my personal life, like my my history as a human, but also when I look to my professional life as well, I had so many trials and errors and smashing my head into the wall, trying to find my way. And my my mission today is to make growth for people, and I'm not talking about the professional part only, but growth must be accessible for everyone. I coach myself. I really value every coach work and effort, but unfortunately, we need to recognize that not everyone has the resources to invest in a coach, and it's super hard. And my mission is to make this more democratic.
Awesome. It's interesting how, depending what your background, as you were telling, right, and especially if you're a man in our generation, asking for help in general, it's a sign of weakness, as you said. And then you look at the elite athletes, businessmen, and professionals throughout the world, and you see that the large majority of them have psychologists, have a coach, have a nutritionist, have even a therapeutic massagist, masseur, dedicated for them. I always remember looking at Usain Bolt running, and immediately after he would finish a race, he would lay down on a marquise and have someone massaging his muscles, his leg muscles, especially, to give this extra edge on performance or capabilities. But if we go to the tech world, especially, that we both know really well, you don't see people actively looking out for support, even mentoring on a technical basis. Like, if you consider the amount of people who work in the IT community and the amount of people who seek out mentoring from more senior developers, it's almost non-existent.
Yeah.
And it's honorable to bring this other perspective on what seeking out for support is. And I'm pretty sure you're going to talk more about specifically how you are going to, or how you do this currently. But yeah, and you mentioned that you're more in a people-oriented role. When was the first role that you actually felt the challenge of being more people-oriented than technical-oriented?
That's a good one. And I describe that. That's actually the preface of my book. Yeah, that's the story that really.
That book?
Yes.
Pause for a moment. And just like magic, this book.
This story actually it's the preface of the book. It was more or less 10, 11 years ago. I was working in a consultancy company in Brazil, and we were doing a large integration that required some collaboration with the Brazilian army. This project itself, it was to organize all the real estate properties belonging to the Brazilian government. And the integration with the Brazilian army, basically it was to get geolocation, more updated geolocation from these properties. And it was a mission critical project. We were a bit behind of the schedule. And we entered in a very critical phase where we really depended on that integration to move the needle. And by that time, I was the one responding, like joining the customer calls and committing with the next deliveries together with our director. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the customer meeting, we got a commitment from my immediate leader saying, "Oh, don't bother. We will deliver these in the next two weeks, the next sprint, basically." I said, "Oh, okay, let's do it." But I was not confident at all. And then during the meeting, I highlighted what we would need. Like, I need a contact from the Brazilian army so we can discuss about the integration contracts and etc. Okay, no, I will handle this. No worries. If you are saying that you're gonna handle this, I trust on you. In the meantime, we work with fake data. Then we just need to adapt and connect the dots. Pretty cool. First week, so, and the contact, like, no, I'm seeing this. In the meantime, the team was freaking anxious. We were really having a bad time because basically it was the missing piece to deliver the project. Months of hard work depending on this single information. The second week started, nothing. Middle of the second week, nothing. And I said, I won't deliver this. I won't push anyone to work late nights just to wait for this and see what's gonna happen. I made the decision of pushing back that release. I went to the customer. I notified my director. No, we will. It's gonna happen in the last 45 minutes. I said, okay, if we have the information, I push for the release. Otherwise, we won't deliver. Period. I didn't have a position to do this, by the way. I was just a senior software engineer. And we failed, obviously. When he was in a meeting with me, when we communicated that we were not delivering that. And in short notice, we were working in kind of a shopping center. So he gathered everyone in a public space, like in the meal area.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, a bunch of tables connected together and all the engineers sitting there with that poker face. And all of a sudden, bang, in the table. He slapped the table. What the hell? The most important release, and you just missed that. And then we heard. I raised my hand and said, if I recall correctly, we had a team commitment to get the information to push for this. Internally, if I can remember, you committed to pick this information for us. I don't remember to get this information from you.
Yeah.
And he slapped in the table. I will fire you. I said, okay. Do you have the information now? I have the information now. I will fire all of you. I said, no, no, no. You don't need to fire all of us. Fire just me if we don't deliver the integration in the next sprint. Because I was there with you. I assigned the commitment that we would deliver. Instead of pushing back, I said, okay, let's do it. So if this fails, fire just me, because it was my fault. I created a fake commitment, a fake expectation in the customer. I will fire. Fire me. And then we came back to the office, and in the same day we went lunch. And I remember our trainee, she called me and said, thank you for that. Thank you for what? For what you just did. We are going to deliver this. So I am pretty much sure that you are going to deliver this. You are fucking badasses. So you are going to deliver this. I have no doubt about that. Yeah, but you trusted us. You got our back. I just did what I had to do. And the feedback, immediate feedback was, you should be our director, not him. For sure. My ego just gave me some pats on the back, you know. It's always nice to feed the ego. But that really touched me somehow, because in the tech environment, we really are proud of all the solutions that we deliver, the complex softwares that we build. But we actually forget about who is building the software, who is driving the needle, who is driving revenue. It's not the software. Who is building the software? People. So if you don't care with your people, you won't have software. You won't have revenue. And that was the click. Like, I want to be a leader, but I don't want to be the tech leader. Tech intrinsically is part of my duty, but I need to care with my people. I will take ownership for my people. I will push my people. I will praise my people. I will criticize and help them grow because they are my people. It's like a father, right? We are talking about parenthood. A father respect, a father incentivize, but a father also course correct. That's the passion. That was the click by that time.
How that director felt or behaved after you actually delivered the project?
He gave us 400 reais for a commemoration.
Each?
No, in total. In total. And he was he was okay, kind of proud of. But what really, if I remember with the picture in color, I remember that he got some credits, you know. But that's okay. That's okay, you know. We know what we do, or what belongs to us, and what actually, it's okay. He's part of the team, so he has the credit as well, you know.
He got the data.
He got the data, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. I love a good story. So 400 reais,
Yeah.
which nowadays would be around, I don't know, 70 euros, something like that.
More.
For a team of how many?
We were a team of 10.
So 7 euros for each. Oh my God. You all bought cars and houses with the... Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. It wasn't a planned question, but as the ocean changes suddenly, this podcast also goes. Who are your surf idols, Rafa? So who had the biggest influence on how you see life, positive or negative? And how did that shape the way you show up and lead?
I must say that I'm struggling with this question for the last couple of weeks because my realization is that I don't have an idol per se. Everything that shaped me, I cannot consider an idol because it's not tangible, you know. But if I need to give a name to my idol is all my bad experiences that shaped me. For instance, in a personal level, I grew up without a father. And now I am a father of 5. So this idol taught me what I missed, what I want to be to my kids, to be present, to be at their school, to push them, to get loved, to share love. And on the professional level, I think the last story tells a bit about how this shapes me. But from the professional level, I can remember several moments where I struggled as an IC and I asked for help and the help was denied. So, and I think this shaped where I am as a coach right now. You know, what can I do to help others achieve their best versions? Because my best version was, as I said, smashing my head on the wall, you know. So these are my idol is a puzzle, and this puzzle, fortunately and unfortunately, at some way, is a puzzle of bad experiences. A puzzle of bad experiences that I turned into great lessons learned. You know, and it's a live document. It's a live artifact in my life because every day I have my struggles at work, with kids, with my family, on the other side of the ocean with my family in Brazil. I always have something that is pushing me to get a better version. You know, so I don't have a person that I say, oh, this is my idol. No, not really.
You do you, and you tell us about you. Interesting when you were saying about my family on the other side of the ocean. I'm not together with the mother of my kids anymore, but we are proud that we do have a really healthy relationship. And what I now use as an analogy is that we are still a team, but we have 2 offices. Because I don't think you can raise kids without being a team.
Yeah.
I think it's super, it's much harder if you act as competitors in a sense. And our family, because my family is also on the other side of the ocean, is our remote team in a different time zone as well. And that brings different difficulties as well of being in this team, geographically dispersed. What was your hardest wipeout? I don't know if you know what a wipeout is, but it's mainly when you're surfing and you fall on the wave. And normally, if it's a big wave or if the wave has power in it, you get in what we call the washing machine, which is just spinning round and round, and you don't know anymore what's down, what's up, what's left, what's right. In some days during winter when the sun is not strong, you don't even have the light to guide yourself. So sometimes it can be a really scary moment. So what happened, or the most transforming experience you had in your life, personal or professional, that brought the biggest learning? As you said, you are getting used already to transform wipeouts into learnable moments. What is the most impactful one at this moment? Okay, it can change also over time.
So my biggest wipeout was 2018, relocating to Portugal from Brazil. I left everything behind. despite having a good life in Brazil, we always had to make choices towards where we would live, what we would eat, if the kid will have a good education, and all the trade offs around us. And we saw an opportunity, a better opportunity here in Portugal. So we decided to leave everything behind and move to Portugal. The thing is that when, in my case in specific, I planned the move in a completely wrong way, I would say. I was not aware about the difficulties on finding a home to live, all the struggles and the challenges around being a Brazilian, you know, documents, yes, very bureaucratic country, I would say. Lovely but bureaucratic country. But and basically when we came, I just converted my salary in Brazil in euros and I accepted the offer. Huge mistake. And the thing is, we didn't have family or nothing in Portugal. The company that invited us to move to here offered a 2-month uh, rental, right? An apartment, a company apartment. And all of a sudden, I am just introduced to all the struggles that Portugal can offer you. That was okay. The first fight was okay. I need to find a home for my family, and it was pretty hard. It was pretty hard till we found it. But finding a new home last minute brought some other challenges. Challenges that I saw myself with my family without money for food, without money to buy the gas for the heater, you know. And in the winter, like 0 degrees in Portugal, we live in Alenquer, so it's colder than other parts of the country. Without heater, without food, we are sharing some tuna cans. And I said, oh gosh, I left everything behind for that. What a stupid dream, you know. What did I have in my head to believe on that? And there I had 2 choices. The first choice was to become the victim. Oh my God, this is happening. Oh, I didn't deserve that. What else? Can I eat another tuna can? And the second option was, okay, I am in this shitty situation and I need to do something about that because this is my family, because this is my history. This is my story. I decided to relocate together with my wife. So we need to take ownership of that. We need to make this happen. We need to be resilient. It's not this that will shake us. This can shake us, but this won't drop us. This won't smash us. I will smash this. From that moment ahead, I decided to completely change how things were doing here. I found a new job. I discovered how the market worked. I invested a lot on my human asset, the network, on my own coaching, on learning new things. You discover that you don't know how to speak English when you come to a country that requires you to speak English. You know, I did English classes since my 4th degree. And the first week in my company in Portugal, I said, oh my God, I don't know to speak English. And all of these challenges really made me feel lost for a moment, for a long moment. I got depression. I became a very bad husband, a very bad father, till the day that I decided that I will do something different with that. This is not what will define me. And if it will define me, it will define me it will define my next best version.
Mm.
And then I changed the job. We bought a house. I started having more, dedicating and creating more time for my family.
Mm.
I left a bunch of jobs that require me to do the trade-offs between my family and my professional life. And my family, from that moment I had, always was the first option, you know. So being a man, and maybe this is not the best way to put it, but being a man, being a husband, and being a father, it's my key responsibility provide for my family, and I was not providing for my family.
Mm.
That was my toughest moment, not only here but throughout my entire life.
Mm.
Yeah. And overcoming this, taking control of this, taking the control, taking ownership, and deciding to do something. We will always have two choices for everything that you do have.
Mm.
We can complain that our bosses suck. We can complain that our salary is not that good. We can complain that someone else got promoted instead of you. We always can do that. What very few people actually have the courage to do is the introspection about what is the part that I missed to drive me to have a poor salary, to not get that promotion,
Mm.
to be in this position in my life. Maybe, and just maybe, this can change a little bit things, embrace your difficulties, embrace your gaps, ask for help.
Mm. Mm. A lot of things came to mind as you were speaking. I noticed that this really touched a deep part of you. And I came to Portugal when I was 22 years old. I didn't have a family at the time. So coming to Portugal and facing a lot of the difficulties that you have described had its impact. But I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anyone to look after, right? Being now a father of two kids, not five, two kids, and completely aware of how this changes the whole game and the sense of responsibility that you can create, because it's a choice as well to be responsible for that. I cannot imagine how it was to be in a new country by yourself with a family and going through those difficulties. So hats off to you to actually make something positive out of this. I think it was in the book Learn How to Say Fuck that I learned this. The difference between guilt and responsibility. And as you were saying, like, maybe it's not your fault that you have a bad salary. We could always argue that part of it is your fault. But some things happen in life that are not remotely your fault, right? It can happen because it happened. Even at those moments, responsibility is a choice. You can take responsibility and say, okay, I'm not guilty that Portugal is going through a house market crisis, but I'm going to take responsibility in changing my situation and learning about how can I find different options, how can I actually apply for either a loan or some help from the government, whatever it is. And it all starts with this choice of, I'm going to take responsibility. And I believe what you were saying is that you chose to take responsibility for not only your life, but at the time also the life of your family. And there are some people who stay in the I'm not guilty, so in the victim space. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if this was conscious or not, but linking a little bit of what you are doing now and how you are creating your meaning into the world, that situation probably shaped a lot of how you help others when they are in a vulnerable position and are looking for better conditions, better jobs, or coming back to the market, as you were telling me earlier on, right? If people don't take responsibility, even if they are not guilty of being laid off or not getting the promotion, nothing is going to change. Or if it changes, it's probably going to be to a worse situation. So were you conscious of this link between Kendall and this specific moment in your life, and how did it shape that?
For sure. I think this was the moment where 2 years ago when I started reflecting, 3 years ago when I started reflecting and started coaching people, I started not consciously, I would say. It was like, I will do coaching. I really like working with people. I'm having a good feedback internally in my job. I will give it a try. I started creating, I remember creating a profile on Mentor Cruise and etc. And then as we were discussing earlier, 2 years ago, while I was in paternity leave, Zendesk offers a decent parental leave for fathers. So I was 3-4 months absent from the job, and helping people always was my passion. Always. If I can give it a name for my passion, is to helping others to find their best version. And by that time, I started working. I remember creating a post on LinkedIn saying, all right, I have 40 days of parental leave left. I want to coach one people every day. So I am opening 40 pro bono seats with a newborn.
Translating, I'm getting crazy just being a father at home with a newborn. So please give me some excuses to tell my wife that, hey, I have a call, a benevolent call to help someone else. So please book me. Was that right?
We can call it like that. I think it's a fair statement. This week I was playing around with the with people at Snakes. Oh, you are back from parenting, and they were kind of mixing parenting with. Oh, but you didn't rest, right? So no, my vacation is when I get back to work. So something like that. And yeah, this shaped a lot, because while I was doing, and I did 30 and something slots, it was pretty wild and pleasant, surprisingly pleasant, And something that I noticed, I worked a lot with people getting laid off or in career transition, just feeling lost and with the struggles that I had. I wished to have someone like saying, dude, this is gonna pass. It's not you, it's not your fault. You are not less capable. You are not less human. This won't make you a worse dad, a worse husband. It's just a phase. Shake up. Like, what can we do? Let's introspect and see from different angles, what can you do to overcome this? And this basically validated the coaching model that I worked since there. Like, I am doing the Strive and Thrive frameworks since May. 2 years ago, I started doing in May, and now till now, and it's interesting, just a marchand. So far, 75 people passed through the Strive and Thrive. And we have accumulated more than 1.5 million euros in aggregated offers. Not because I have a magic formula. Far from that. I have no formula. I have a system that will help people to introspect on a given situation. What are my options? What is the option that will move the needle? I won't give the answers. I'm not here to give the answers. I don't have answers for many of my questions. But I do know how to push you out of your boundaries, out of your comfort zone, to be the jerk, Because sometimes we need the jerk. And Kendall brings this, a lot of this. What was interesting is that I validated the model. I had some traction, but it was not sustainable. And all of a sudden, I saw myself entering sales calls with people that got laid off. And somehow I was offering to sell a coaching package for these people to help them overcome their struggles. How can I? Yeah, it's a service. Okay. But somehow my story was pushing me back from this. How can I charge a person with financial struggles that just got laid off with a messy emotional load? How can I be the supporter asking for something that maybe this person won't have right now? Won't have ways to afford this right now. And many did it. But then it started losing the purpose. And then that was the realization to create Candle. Beginning this year, I got laid off from Zendesk as well. In a very, very complicated scenario. And again, I had the two choices. And my choice was, again, I will rock this, And then Candle came. What the hell am I doing that despite all the friction, despite all the struggles, despite all the anxiety, the emotional load, why is this happening? How can I make this available for people without requiring me to be there? Or even better, how can I make this democratic for people? How can I make learning? How can I make the system that I charge people for sure, this won't replace proper coaching. But how can I empower these people, right? To know how to prepare, to know how to introspect, what questions to ask, what to look, to identify their needs, their drivers, their red flags, how to research for that, how to validate it, how to grow. And Kendall came from this desire. So 100%. We can circle back to the idol, another idol here. I decided to make a not so good moment in my story and create something this time not only good for me, but can benefit many that I know that are struggling to find their path, or getting laid off, or just want a better salary condition to grow in their career intentionally and strategically. Kendall is here for that. So it's 100% connected.
Yeah, and life made a full circle back, right? There are a lot of people who talk about this, transforming your karma in dharma, or your pain in gain, or in gift. In Portuguese would be a tua dor em dom. And someone's biggest struggles or biggest wipeouts can indeed, at the right time, be something that connects with a higher purpose and a higher passion, right? Yeah. As I was telling you as well, the whole Abundance Flow project came from a realization that I too have lots of still to learn on how to become more abundant in specific areas. In others, I'm okay, but there are some that are still needing some work, especially in terms of finance. I come from a series of generational entrepreneurs that were able to create richness and then, for some reason, multiple reasons, lose everything. And then when I see that, hey, I have this pattern as well, my sister have this pattern, can we do something about this and maybe help some other folks on the way as well? So transforming this gift, this karma in dharma, this struggle in something positive, which is something that the ocean also teaches us. Sometimes you go and you surf and the day is not that good. Even the waves are crap, or the waves are good and your surf is crap, and you just wipe out. And there are days that you even go out there fully confident and feeling like, I'm gonna rock today, and then the ocean makes you humble again. And then it's a choice. You either give up surfing, or you become the victim, or you say, okay, today is a learning day. I'm gonna come back stronger on another day. And many times when you don't have these expectations and you're not even feeling too much into going surfing, and then you go, you're gonna have the best session ever, like the ones that you really dig and mark in your memory. So you never know what life will give you or what the ocean will give you, but it's a choice of what do you make out of it. All right, heading to the final waves that we're gonna surf together today, at least. And you talked a lot about your passion, your vocation, you say, and your current project a little bit. Maybe this is also related, but what do you keep in your surf leader backpack and you bring constantly with you? Either a tool, a belief, or a mindset that you apply or use in moments of transition or struggle or challenges, as you shared some, and any tip that you can give, tease a little bit of the candle framework or methodology for anyone who is going through a difficult moment, either specifically a layoff or some challenges in parenting or in the relationship they have. What is always in your backpack to help in those situations?
The first thing is the mindset and the belief that the hard moment that you are going through, it's not defining who you are negatively. It will define you negatively only and only if you allow it. So all the struggles that I had, as we discussed it here, just made me stronger, because the mindset is who fails are the ones that are trying. And I cannot recall any successful person that became successful without trying and without failing. So the first thing is, it's just a moment. This moment, this hard moment, won't say that you are a bad person, a bad professional. Hang it tight. This is my mantra. Whenever I am getting a new challenge that I also feel myself incapable to do things, because I do a lot, I question, I push me back, I resist. I said, no, I'm not ready. No, I am ready. And if I am not ready, I will become ready. If I am struggle, I will overcome the struggle. This leads me to the tool. you need to know yourself. Because if you just spray and pray, hoping for a solution, sometimes it works. Most, not really. So I really have this routine of journaling every end of the week. What did I learn? What really worked? This week I am freaking proud of. This week, my biggest failure, my biggest learning opportunity is, and I build from there. I don't let the space create this gap between my self awareness and my desire to grow. Otherwise, I will miss the train. Otherwise, when I decide to take action, maybe my awareness will push me to get stuck in a bad habit from the past. And especially when we are dealing in a leadership position, in a coaching position, where your success is not actually measured by your success. Your success somehow is translated on how successful you make others. It's pretty easy to lose track of everything that you are doing, all the gaps. As higher you go in the ladder, as difficult feedback, as difficult and less accessible feedback become. So you need to do your part. I need to do my part. I do journaling to keep my self-awareness. I also establish goals for myself. For instance, Candle, I want to get the first 100 users in the first 90 days. What can I do for that? What are the steps that I need to put? And this is crazy because, for instance, I have my newsletter, I have a podcast, I have the coaching, I have my 9 to 5 job, I have Candle, a bunch of side projects. But
you have 5 kids?
5 kids. But here is the thing. By the moment that you recognize, you do journaling, you understand what you need, what are your priorities, and what you need to do to move the needle. For instance, I have canceled all my coaching sessions. I have parked all of them. I am not recording podcasts anymore. Newsletter, eventually. You could see LinkedIn posts on a daily basis on my account. Eventually, you see 2-3 times per week. That's because my priority right now is to wrap up Candle while keeping a work-life balance with my family. It's amazing. We were talking earlier about the recognition and etc. It's amazing. It's dopamine. It's exciting. It makes you feel good. Making you feel good does not mean progress. So for me, these are the 2 must goes. First, bad moments won't define myself negatively. They will become lesson learned. I do journaling because I need to understand and become self-aware about my gaps, about my goals, about what is working, what's not working. And I need to prioritize everything. I need to understand that I cannot hug everything. This is a personal belief that we need to do, if we need to do just one thing pretty damn good, focus on one thing and do it pretty damn good, because this is your legacy. It's money. Okay. Do all you can do to get more money. It's fulfillment. Do whatever you can do to bring fulfillment. But focus on the finish line, to cross the finish line. You know? So these are my items from my leader package backpack.
Good stuff. I was thinking that if failure was something that we would avoid at all costs, there would be no surfing, because your body only learns how to balance by falling and then getting this feedback of like, oh, if I behave like this, when the board does that, I fall. So what happens if I do the opposite? And surfing is a huge training ground on resilience and on dealing with failure. Because no matter how good of a surfer you are bound to fall because the wave ends. If you want to learn how to surf, you need to make amends and your truce with falling. And falling and failing is only separated by a letter, right? You just turn one of the L's into a Y and you have failing. So they are really, really close to each other. So you kind of do a weekly retrospective of you, in a sense. All right. I believe for you to keep your work-life balance, we need to head into the final two questions. Let's see, maybe final one. Since this podcast talks about abundance and also inspired by my own story and the story of my family and the people around me, I've mapped, let's say, the 5 phases or stages that you can go back and forth, and you probably go back and forth depending also on the needs of abundance. And it starts with this firing of your intention, of your desire, of your goals and plans and dreams. Then forgetting a little bit, because when you ask something out of life, you need to provide some space and time for life reorganize itself to provide what you want. And during this time, it's almost like, okay, I'm going to have to clean up my garden or my backyard to receive the fruits of what I'm asking for. Maybe working on myself to become the person ready to receive when this request come back. Then you listen to what's around you and you react on the messages that you receive of confirmation of, or even to announcements. Hey, remember what you asked for? It's coming, but you need to do something about it, because if you don't do it, it's almost like surfing and you are waiting for a wave and you change positions and you ask for a really good wave and all of a sudden it appears in the horizon, but you're not in the right spot or you're not committed to surf it. And then you just let it go and someone else surfs your wave. And after responding comes the need to materialize, to actually surf the wave and commit to surf the wave and adjust the path as the wave also changes its shape. And finally, to nurture, to amplify, and to sustain what you asked for. Between those 5, this initial spark, this preparing, getting ready for it, reacting to the signs of the universe in a sense, materializing stuff, or scaling and amplifying. Where do you see yourself at the moment? And historically, or at the moment as well, what is the most challenging stage for you?
Yeah, I definitely see myself on the amplifying right now. And this is challenging because it is requiring me to take ownership about a bunch of stuff and requiring to put aside other projects that I have, like the podcast that I really like doing, the newsletter, the social presence, because otherwise I will burn out. And here is interesting because the amplifying connects me directly with the purpose of what I am doing this, why I am doing this, you know. And right now, I am amplifying through coaching and through Candle. Hopefully, hopefully, I will materialize this and make this my full-time job at some point. Maybe that's the goal. And you are able to make uh, uh, your work part of your passion, not your passion part of your work. I think that's the sweet spot, but definitely amplifying. And amplifying is also requiring me to the other signs, to be aware, to pay attention on the signs, to understand when is a good moment, what are the good choices, the not so good choices, but specifically taking ownership about my choices per se. Recognizing that if something is doing bad, it's because most likely I am doing something bad, or I am not looking to the right eyes from the right lenses, or even not recognizing the patterns that are pushing me back. But yeah, definitely amplifying. Definitely amplifying. My mission this year is to help as many people as possible, not only with their careers but with their growth as professional and as person.
Thanks for answering. One way that I see this amplifying phase, and this will resonate differently depending on your preference, your personality, what you like to do, or what you struggle to do, is that it may not be the phase that is the most sensual one, because it's not many times about the creation, the ideation, the building, but it's really rooting yourself and discipline and consistency, and doing a lot of things that are not really engaging, but are slowly building up and compounding into something that will be great one day. And it may take a while to actually see the results of this phase. So it needs a lot of rooting, it needs a lot of grounding, because it's easy, at least for me, to get lost in this phase, to lose the enchantment, as I was telling you earlier, because I like to build stuff fast. I like to ideate. I like to have crazy ideas and materialize them, but initially. Just like in a garden, when you plant a tree, you're going to have some time where you're just doing the basic caring and cleaning and looking after until you get some fruits. And this can be quite boring in a sense, but needed for sure. And this is also my current biggest challenge in myself. All right, Rafa, do we have time for a last question? It's 5:34. So, as I also believe in the ripple effect of all the actions we have, what sea do you want to leave cleaner? Or translating to non-surfistic, oceanistic terms, what impact do you want to have by leaving and teaching whatever message, approach, product, service that you are mainly focused now? How do you want to contribute to a more fluid, connected, and whole world?
Yeah, I think Candle is a huge piece of this legacy that I plan, because I want to live in a society, professional society, if we can say, we can put like that, where growth is something democratic, that you still have the coaching services, which are dedicated for different purposes. Like it's the human interaction throughout a coaching session, it's completely different. But my mission is actually to provide the environment where people can have strategic growth without actually having a coach. Like AI is there. So how can we leverage AI in the best sense to start helping people? Not only vibe coding or creating social content or etc., but, and this is very simplistic. There are many other great usage of AI, but specifically for growth, I think the idea of when we look to a laid off person or someone is struggling to grow, someone is struggling to understand what actually they need to do, how to introspect that, how to create goals, and how to hold them accountable, it's pretty, pretty more complex than we can imagine. Like we are talking about accountability, we are talking about lack of time, we are talking about emotional load, we are talking about anxiety and many other factors. And what I want, my true desire is actually to be that person that will somehow come to you and say, just keep pushing. As you mentioned, like the amplifying takes more time than that. So dedicate the time that you deserve for you. Maybe your next job won't come tomorrow. Maybe you won't get promoted this cycle. But what can I do now? How can I introspect now? How can I understand without the guesswork what to do? And that's my mission, to provide this and help as many people as possible in person throughout my coaching services, but mainly with Candle now, that make things way more affordable and straightforward than in presence coaching programs and etc. So helping people to achieve their best versions with an affordable way in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of investment overall, investment of resources overall. That's the mission.
Good stuff. I remember a saying that in the sports world, especially for people beginning, that we say a lot, it's going to get worse before it get better. But if you really commit to the work, to the discipline, and to the consistency, you're gonna see results. I recently posted a comparison video about me training, specifically obstacle course racing 1 year ago, and then now, and there is a difference. But I suffered for a long time before actually reaping the benefits, gathering the fruits out of it.
That's interesting. When I got laid off at Zendesk, this was March this year. Man, I have 5 kids, so you know that providing it's something that cannot fail. I had in my mind 90 days to change my situation. In 90 days, I did more than 50 interviews. I was interviewing almost every single day. I was failing every single day. I was crying every single day. I was suffering. I was being extremely pushed to the edge every single day. There were days that I was doing 3, 4 interviews. My wife was just crashing. It's like, you're gonna die, man. You will have a stroke or something like that, because I was really stressed. Because I was really, really stressed. But it's the choice. And the choice not always is soft, is friendly. And it will take time. Maybe 90 days, maybe 180, maybe 1 year. But you need to persist. You need to be resilient. You need to be strategic to the point where you need to learn how to push, when to stay back, when to step back, when to retreat, when to accept the defeat, to lose the battle, to win the war. You know. So every single day, have more than 50, where I had days interviewing 3-4 times and failing consistently. And in every failure, I was taking notes. It's interesting because I was not that much connected with system design interviews. I can't remember. I couldn't remember the last time that I did a system design interview. And somehow the market changed so much on engineering leadership that system design interviews became just a normal step. And on the first 10, probably, I was sweating and said, oh my freaking God, system design interviews again. I'm going to fail. I'm sure that I'm going to fail, you know? And this is something that is present at Kendall as well. Every end of interview, 15 minutes later, introspecting. What went well, what went not that well, what can I improve? Maybe my tone of voice, maybe I was cursing a lot during the interview. I was being too friendly, I was being too serious. All of these small details, I was taking notes. And consistently on my journaling, by the end of the week, I was introspecting on the topics that I had to learn. Okay, system design interviews is the bottleneck. What are the concepts of the system design interviews that I am struggling? Notes. I will create something to, I don't know, a YouTube video to help me on this. And taking notes and watching the YouTube video and improving. By the end of the day, I had 4 offers. I started getting positive feedbacks on the system design interviews, started becoming confident, now I am basically doing consistently every day system design interviews at Sneak. So, how curious is this, right? The problem is that we wait for the award too early. I think the human being is super anxious. We are used at somehow at some degree, and this might vary from person to person, but to have the tangible results too quickly, too short, like dopamine, right? It's a dopamine. And we don't realize that the true award, like the amplifying, if you want to amplify your impact, it takes time. Maybe you fail 10 times as I failed on system design interviews before I start getting positive feedback. Maybe you will need to interview 100 times, 5 times a day to get your dream job. Maybe you need, for the tech folks out there, to crash lit code 5 hours a day, maybe to get a job at Google. I don't know. But the thing is, it's painful. And you need to be resilient. You need to be patient to get there, because it will get there. Eventually, it will get there. But the thing is, will you be strong enough and resilient enough to keep the routine, to keep the consistency, to celebrate at the end, or just, it's not for me? It's the choice.
Definitely. And I'm glad that you didn't become the first case that I'm aware of someone dying from excessive interviews.
Yeah.
And then you get to be here with me today, sharing your story. This was our episode with Raphael Neves, everyone. I'm gonna drop the links to his profile, to Candle.io website as well. Don't be a stranger. Thank you again, Rafa. It's the first time I'm interviewing a Rafa. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man. See you soon.